Hi everybody, sorry I'm like 5 minutes late. I apologize. My hair is incredibly long and it takes a very long time to blow dry, and I didn't realize it was going to take me that long. I did use a new brush and the new brush was awesome. Also, just a reminder, I am on my phone because my phone sucks, or my computer sucks. My phone is great. My computer sucks. I need a new one, which I still don't have the money to do yet. But I appreciate you guys coming. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while for a live stream. I haven't live streamed since January, and the world has changed a lot. A lot since then. Um, so I hope you guys are happy and healthy with the craziness going on in the world. I kind of want to see if I can monetize this video, so I'm going to try not to say the name of the virus. I will say virus, but I won't say the full name. I hope you guys are happy and healthy wherever you are in the world. I know a lot of my viewers are not in the States. You're actually in Europe, maybe even Australia, some of you. So I hope you guys are okay doing your self-quarantining if you have to. And you're right, I can say CV, that works. Me, I'm not self-quarantining because both I and CJ work at what is considered essential work. So I work at a hardware store and CJ works at a grocery store. So we both get to go to work every day still. Hi, Gabriella. It's okay. You don't have to stay too long. Hello. But yeah, so we are considered essential workers. So I still have to go to work every day. And it's not terrible. I'm practicing safe stuff, I wash my hands a lot, and they give us gloves if we want them, but my job is kind of hard to do with gloves on, so I don't wear them. I just wash my hands a lot. And I'm actually drying out my hands pretty bad. One of my hands has a really big spot of like nasty dry skin. It's gross. But anyway, so I just figured that I said that I would do a live stream at the end of each month if I felt like I had something to talk about. And I do. I have a lot of things I would like to talk about. We can talk about the past 2 months that haven't, I haven't been on YouTube other than the 2 videos I've posted in the past 2 months. For those of you who haven't seen them, I have 2 videos on my channel that have been posted within the last month. One is a theory about our favorite twins, Roman and Remus, and then I have a video about the theory that I think what's going to happen with the next episode of the Sandersides. And I forgot, I have a 3rd video, which is my spilling tea video for the Sandersides fandom. So if you guys have not checked those out after this video is over, I would highly, highly appreciate it if you did. Those videos are monetized, and it helps me support, me with the little amount of money I do make. I don't make too much money from YouTube, but any little bit helps. And those are videos that I've wanted to put out, especially the spilling tea one. I've wanted to put that one out for a long time, and I'm glad it went over as well as it did. A lot of you guys agreed with everything I had to say. So that was good. Well, thank you, Blue Knight. I appreciate it. Welcome to my channel. I do want to talk to you guys. My channel is going to change a little bit here soon. I know there are a lot of people here for the Sandersides. My reacts, yes, Sydney, this video will be able to be watched later. You can go have fun, but remember, be safe, wash your hands. Don't, you have company over, but you gotta be careful. 6-foot rule and all that stuff. But anyway, when I first posted my first ever react video for the Sandersides, at the time I was actually a Love Live YouTuber, or an idol tuber. And I had a pretty decent following of people watching my Love Live content. Now, once my Sandersides video got a lot more traction than I expected, I think that first video hit 2,000 or 3,000 views in just a couple of days. And for my channel, that was nuts, because like my Love Live content was good, but it didn't do that, So I kind of stopped posting my Love Live content. I was also with my ex then, and a lot of my videos had him in it. So I ended up just unlisting all of my Love Live content. just because at the time my hyperfixation, because I have mild ADHD, my hyperfixation was on the sander sides. So now that I don't really have one right now, I still enjoy the sander sides, of course, but I'm thinking I'm gonna go back and start posting my Love Life content. I have a lot of videos. I still record all of my scouts, and I do have quite a few viewers who follow me on social media that they miss my Love Life content. And I know that part of my sub count is very small, but I still want to post those videos because it is something I enjoy, and this is my channel. So I would like to say that, I understand that a lot of you probably don't either you don't know what Love Live is, or you have no interest in knowing what it is, or whatever. Please do not unfollow me just because I start posting new content. That happened when I started doing my vlogs, which is one of the main reasons why I stopped doing them, because I was, I lost like 100 subs in less than a week. And like, I know that subs don't mean everything, but like when you watch your channel grow for so long, and then all of a sudden it's heartbreaking, to be honest, especially when you feel like you're doing as much as you can, because like my job, I work 9 to 10 hours a day, sometimes even more, because especially right now, because a lot of the people that work at my job as cashiers are older folks. They've been staying home. They've been allowed to self-quarantine during this whole CV stuff. So I've had to work as a cashier sometimes, and I've had to stay late because I'm trained as a cashier. I don't normally work as one, but I can. So I have been staying later. And having those long hours, I'm very tired when I come home. I stand on my feet all day long. I get one break because the other breaks are so short, it wouldn't be worth getting there. So that's why the small content of Love Live is something I can consistently do. It doesn't take much editing, and there's not much upload time either. So I'm going to start posting my Love Live videos. A lot of those are older, and I will make sure to note this at the beginning. I do call myself Amanda in some of the older ones. And now, for those of you who are unaware, Amanda is my birth name. It's the name I go by in real life. And I'm not offended if people call me Amanda. I would like you guys to still call me Riley. Riley is something that's really important to me in terms of the social aspect between people who watch my content and me. So those videos might say, Amanda instead of Riley, depending on how old they are. That's how big my backlog is of my Love Live content. But that's just an FYI. I do have more Sander Sites content I would like to start making. I do have a deceit theory I'm really interested in, and I am going to make that top video now. So for those of you who don't follow Thomas on Twitter or any type of social media, he did do an announcement, I believe it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before, I don't remember when it was, but he posted that it was going to be, we're not going to get the next Sander Sites episode before the end of March. And he said that because there's a key thing they forgot to record, I guess, that can't be recorded on his own. I don't really know. That excuse seems kind of loose to me. I mean, I don't want to call it an excuse. Like, Thomas can do what he wants, but like, I don't know. There's a key thing they forgot to do or whatever. And so, yeah. So we won't be getting the next episode for the end of the month. So I have a little bit more time to make that top video if you want. It will not have very much editing to it. It might just be me talking to the camera. Because that's just easier for me to edit with my computer being a POS, and I'm not really able to edit anything heavily that has a lot of movement. But I can do that. And I have a list of the sides episodes, and I know what my top 5 is at least. But I thought about rewatching the entire series, just to do one last refresh before I confirm that my list is what it is. And so I'll be working on that. I'll be working on the deceit theory that I have. But I also wanted to talk about the possibility of anime content on my channel. Anime is something that's very near and dear to my heart, and it has been for a long time. And I've wanted to make anime content talking about shows I watch, because when I I'm 29 years old now. I'll be 30 next month. I've been watching anime since I was 10-ish, maybe a little bit younger than that, because I started watching Pokemon when it came out in 1997, and I was 7 in 1997. So, I've been watching anime for basically my entire life. And I would say right after high school, I graduated in 2008. When I graduated in 2008, I kind of stopped watching anime because everything became about, do I want to go to college? I need to get a better paying job. And I lost a little bit of interest after I graduated high school. So I missed a lot of great anime from like 2010 to 2015, 16. Now, a lot of the bigger shows that aired during that time, I've seen them at least season or two, but there's a few I haven't really seen that I thought it might be interesting to maybe watch some of these shows that aired during that time that were really popular that I never saw. I would take suggestions and stuff, and I would just talk about what I like about the show and all that stuff, kind of like an AniTuber would, So that's a consideration I thought about doing. And then I'm also really getting back into Pokemon. I borrowed my brother's copy of Pokemon Shield, and I really liked that game. I thought it was really good. I was really impressed. It was better than I expected. I still think the game could have been better if they had taken more time on that game rather than that other project that Game Freak was working on at the same time as Pokemon. I think that the game could have been better in terms of certain animations. They could have probably had the national dex, things like that. But I'm not. I think it would be interesting to talk about certain Pokemon things that I like. Pokemon is really big right now thanks to Pokemon Go and the fact that Sword and Shield came out. And then I know Mystery Dungeon got a new game. So, Pokemon's kind of big in the atmosphere right now. So I thought that might be cool to talk about because I've never really talked about Pokemon and I adore it. Pokemon has been something in my life, my entire life. I have bought every game at launch other than Pokemon. I think the last, I didn't buy Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I don't have either one of those games. But every other game before that, I think I own every single one of them. And I remember I actually bought Diamond and Pearl and 2 copies of Platinum when they came out because I played Diamond, my brother played Pearl, and we both played Platinum. So we needed 2 copies of Platinum. So, I really like Pokemon. I really do. I mean, gosh sakes, I have this dude. Also, I am one of those people that will never change, but Pikachu is my favorite Pokemon. He will always be my favorite Pokemon. And I did fall in love with Ash's Pikachu at the beginning, but I just like Pikachu in general. I don't know what it is about Pikachu. It's just, it will always be my favorite Pokemon. But yeah, so that's just something that's really important to me. And I always buy Pikachu things. Like, I don't have it up here, but CJ, they actually bought me a Pikachu mug from their job, and it's Pikachu's head as a coffee cup. I don't even drink coffee. I would probably drink hot chocolate out of it, but it's so cute. I love Pikachu things. I wish I had more Pikachu things within arm's reach that I could show you. Like, I have the Detective Pikachu, with Ryan Reynolds' voice in it, like the automated one that moves. I have that. My parents got me that for my birthday last year. So anyway, I just thought it'd be cool for me to talk about things that I enjoy on my channel, because it would be nice to not have to stay so centered to one thing, especially the Sanders side, which is so fluctuating in its content. Now, that leads me into talking about something that some of you may not agree with, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. But I wanted to let you all know that I will not know insider information anymore about the Sanders sites in terms of memberships because I canceled mine today. I canceled mine today for several reasons, and it's not anything against Thomas and his friends, because as you all know, I am a Sanders Sides nerd. I have every single poster. I have the 4 that were just released. I have all the sweaters. I have all my t-shirts. I have a lot of merch for the Sanders Side. I support Thomas a lot. But my problem is that I have thought this for a long time, but the stretch of time in between content on his main channel where a lot of us have memberships, it's been 10 months. That's like $50. what have we gotten in that span of time other than a few live streams where they can't really say anything because they don't want to spoil things that are on their way, that have been on their way for months, sometimes even years. Like, do you guys realize that do you realize that it's been over a year since they first mentioned the fact that Camden was they were working on a series just about Roman? Like, it's been over a year and we still don't have anything about that. Like, why talk about it if it might take longer to produce? If the key thing they needed to record for this current episode of the Sanders Sites was so important to the story, why was it not recorded months ago? They're already editing. So it's a confrontation of the fact that I love Thomas. I do. I respect him wholeheartedly, but he's not a very good business guy. He needs to work. I mean, I'm spending all this money on his merch, on his membership, and I'm not really getting anything for it. Like, the merch, yes, I spend the merch, I get the merch, that's one thing. But the membership, I was a member for a year and 7 months. That's a lot of money if you do the math. So it's just like, other than the big thing with dealing with intrusive thoughts, it's just like, what did we get for all of that money? I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I'm not a big fan. I have a Patreon, and I don't think I have YouTube memberships turned on yet. I thought about it. But I'm not going to do that until I'm more consistent in what I can provide for you guys. I don't want to say that you're going to get something every month, and then I can't provide it. I want to be able, as a YouTuber, to be able to give you guys content on a regular basis, and then you can decide whether or not that's content that you would like to support, and monetarily. And I think one of the main things that someone, if we believe it's Ukulele Nerd, Ukulele Nerd just said, Thomas might be overworking himself. I don't really think it's that. What I think it is they are spreading themselves too thin. And Thomas, from what we've seen, works with his friends. And I'm not saying you can't work with your friends. You can. But you're a little more lax when you do. And I feel like he is more being their friend than he is being their boss. And I think the second channel was a mistake, in my opinion, because I feel like they don't have enough people to warrant 2 channels right now. It's nice to have that separated, but at the same time, I feel like creating that separation almost made it even more difficult because everybody has to answer to Thomas. Now, if they had made that second channel and it was Joan in charge of it, and they were the ones that called the shots, and like Joan was the main backer behind that channel, and maybe not even Joan, because Joan works really hard on the Sanders Sites too. Joan is like the baby, the dad of the Sanders Sites in terms of the plot and everything. So maybe they wouldn't do it. Maybe it was more of, just, I don't know, maybe even Camden or Quill, someone could be in charge of that channel and let Thomas control his own channel. It would be different. And the fact is Thomas, he's a Hufflepuff through and through. He's going to put his friends and their needs over the needs of his own, and this is his professional job. So and I'm not saying that he can't take his time. I've always been one of those people. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably get annoyed because I'm always commenting on his posts. Take your time, it's fine. You don't have to worry and rush. It's okay. Now I'm speaking a different tune because I'm finally realizing that there are, I think I saw someone say, over like 1,000 people that pay him a membership a month. Think about that, guys. Think about that. If there's over 1,000 people signed up to his membership channel for a month, that's in American US dollars, it's $5.29 a person because it is taxed. It's $4.99 and then they tax it. So if every person in there, if we just make it $5 even, and everybody is giving $5, that's $5,000 a month. What have those 1,000 people gotten in the past 10 months? nothing other than, I mean, not even 10. You should say 9 because we got the Sanders Asides episode 9 months ago. So like what have those people gotten in that time? There hasn't really been any content on the side channel either. So you can't even like count that as like a bonus. You know, and so it's not that I'm trying to dissuade people from being members of Thomas's channel. I'm not. I just think that it's time that Thomas maybe lets someone else manage his channel, or he needs to take the step up and be more of a boss rather than a friend. Because from what I'm aware of, most, if not all, of his team are his friends. And starting out as a small YouTuber with just your friends and a camera, totally chill. 99.9% is good content, and 90% of YouTubers start out that way. They start out just with a camera and their friends helping them edit, and maybe their friends being in the videos too. But like, there's just so much, like, I don't know if it's Thomas who thinks this, or Joan, or whoever, but they need to realize that we would take small content, pictures during production of the sides, doing funny things with Thomas's friends would be hilarious. Why isn't that a thing? More TikToks, the way Thomas did with the TikTok with all the sides in it. Maybe he has some off time during recording and he can make a funny joke or a meme, whatever the TikTok memes are. I'm not on TikTok. So, you know, and that's, and I think, who said it? Pistachio Land. Oh, hi, Pistachio Land. I really like your fan art. Thank you for being here. They said, I think Thomas has too many ideas compared to other creators, spends a lot of time interacting with his fans. It's not wrong, but takes a lot of time. Yes, I 100% agree with that statement. That's the thing, is that like, I am so happy that Thomas is so connected with his fandom. That's one of the reasons that Sanders Sides is so different for me, because I feel like I know Thomas. Obviously, I don't. I'm a fan. I don't know him at all. But like, I feel like I know him because he's so active with the rest of us. You know, he notices our fan art. He notices our cosplay. He notices our fan edits. He recognizes fan fiction, but he can't really do anything with that because like, he doesn't want to steal ideas or anything. So like, I get it, but I agree with Lan in the fact that I think that just takes up so much of his time. And it would be nice if we could focus more on the content that he's making, and get it out more swiftly. There was something else, and I'm on my phone, so I have to scroll back through the comments. I apologize. Now, you say $60,000 a year just for the membership. He's got to pay his friends and workers too. Yes, he does, but you have to understand that's not his only source of income. He also has the YouTube ad revenue. I'm not sure how much that is, but he has over 3 million subscribers, so that's quite a bit of money there too. And then you also have to consider all the merch sales that he makes. His merch sells very well, and his merch is also rather expensive. So it's, yes, there's a production cost in there, but you have to understand he's making more money. Man, he makes money off the Twitter videos. They have ads in front of them. I don't think there are ads on Instagram. I don't know. There might be. I don't use Instagram very much. Tumblr doesn't have any ads, but you know, he's making content that's getting ad revenue. So it's just, there's a little bit of a hit or miss thing there. Didn't mean to do that. Like, and I'm like, I do understand that, like, you know, there was a small delay in this newest episode of the Sanders Sides, because they were working with animators. That is fine. If that's the reason why this video took so long, if 90% of the reason why this video took so long is because they were working with people and the animators took their time to edit, that's fine. But this isn't the first time we've had a very long wait in between episodes. Something else that I read on Tumblr, and I don't know if I want to shout out who it was because I don't want them to be bombarded with hate, but I don't think any of you would do that. But I also at the same time just feel like I have a responsibility not to. Someone mentioned how that when as much as I love the bloopers, it is pretty clear that they joke around a lot. And I'm not saying you can't have fun while doing, I guess, your job, because obviously you want to enjoy what you do for a living. I mean, what's the point of doing it if, you know, there's no fun in it? But at the same time, you know, people who had memberships or have memberships like I did and slash dude did, and people who buy his merch and people who support his videos by clicking on ads, we are paying for a service. We're paying for a product. And that product is the Sandra Sides, or Cartoon Therapy, or any of his series that he decides he wants to make regular content of that would be scripted. I'm not just specifically talking about the Sandra Sides, but like anything that we enjoy watching on his channel. If we are giving him money to support him in doing that, we have the right to be upset that we get these blooper episodes where they are making jokes for hours. Like, there's a point of joking and having fun with your friends, and then there's professionalism in getting the job done. Now, I'm not saying that they don't get the job done, because obviously we get episodes, so they do. But why is this episode specifically taking over 10 months to make? The Sanders Asides didn't take very long. So what's wrong with this one? Like, I know that we had the animators, but like, I guess more, I don't even want to say that, but like, Thomas should talk to us more. Like, it's so vague, isn't it? But like, because he already does talk to us a lot, but I feel like all of his updates are incredibly vague. They're like, this is taking long, and he apologizes a lot, which is a Hufflepuff thing through and through, but like, I feel like just more honesty with what is taking so long would be nice. That way we don't feel like we're so in the dark, that we don't feel like we're sitting here paying him money through merch and subscriptions and ad revenue, that we don't feel like we're not getting anything. Because I'll admit this to you, as a member, there was nothing that I knew that the community didn't already know. There wasn't. I wasn't getting anything special through being a member, other than the member live streams. But the member live streams were actually pretty boring. Like, there were over 300 to 400 people in every single one of these live streams. And if Thomas wasn't alone, it was mostly watching him talk to his friends for hours, depending on how long the live stream was. And you couldn't really get a question in because the comments were going way too fast. I think and then people would pay him in Super Chat. So there's another, now Super Chat's a whole big thing because I don't like Super Chat. Super Chat apparently takes like next to all of the money and gives it to YouTube, doesn't give it to the creator. So if you're ever in a chat with in a live stream with anybody, like, I don't even care if I eventually have that, Super Chat is stupid and you should not use it. Just buy merch from the creator or whatever. Do not give in Super Chat, because 90% of that money goes to YouTube, not to the creator. But anyway, it's just, only the people that were doing Super Chat were recognized, or they were so busy talking to each other that eventually it became not about the fact that this was supposed to be an exclusive live stream to talk about the Sanders Sides or about the content on his main channel. It became sit and talk with Thomas and his friends for 2 hours. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but when I'm paying for something and this is supposed to be exclusive, I don't have to pay the $5 to learn this stuff, because this stuff's going to make it onto social media. And yeah, you could turn around and say that members shouldn't give the information, but like, people who don't pay are even more in the blind than we are. I don't know. Let's see. Lan just said something. Let me read it. I mean, there are many YouTubers that inform they're skipping uploads. But the thing is 90% of most of the YouTubers that I watch on YouTube, they upload consistently. I'm literally trying to think here if there's any other YouTuber, like a big one. I'm talking about like Thomas size or even bigger. I can't think of a single one that I'm subscribed to that doesn't have an upload schedule, that consistently follows that upload schedule. And if they think they might stop uploading, whether it's once a day or twice a week or once on Wednesday and once on Saturday or whatever it might be, I can't think of any time that they didn't make me aware by either saying it on Twitter or, oh, sorry, I didn't turn my notifications off, guys. This is going to be loud. Plug your Plug your ears. Okay, sorry. I forgot to turn that off. But like most things, yeah, he just tweeted. That was my phone going off. Because I forgot to turn off my notifications. Sorry. Most channels upload on a consistent basis, and if they don't, they either post on their community tab on YouTube or on Twitter that they are not going to be able to upload for that consistent amount of time. So and I think M talked about it, about like animation channels. I respect animation channels because animating is so difficult. It's not something that just anybody can do. I'm not saying what Thomas says is something anybody can do. Just hear me out. But like, animation takes a big crew to do, and sometimes those crews aren't even in the same country. Sometimes, you have people who animate for somebody else, or color or do lines or shading or something, and they don't live anywhere near anybody else. So I don't know. I didn't want to rant about this for too long, and I have. It's been like 25 minutes. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm no longer paying Thomas in memberships, so I won't know anything if he does announce something. That's a secret. Unless someone goes and blabs about it on Tumblr. That'd be the only way I would know. And I don't mean that something like, for those of you who are still members, it doesn't mean I want you to tell me anything. I'm just letting you guys know that I won't have insider knowledge if that becomes a thing that's more apparent. The only thing I'll miss would be getting the scripts, but we haven't gotten a script for like 3 episodes, and I don't think he intends on ever uploading them, because that was something we were supposed to get, but we never did. So I don't know. Anyway, guys, it's been about 30 minutes. I don't know how to rant. Yeah, and that's true too. Thomas is kind of a perfectionist. He has a specific way that he wants to do things. And I agree that maybe he should definitely let Joan take a little bit more of saying whether or not something is good, just so they can move on. I feel like they get stuck on things a lot and waste a lot of time either reissuing something or redoing something that was probably already good enough to begin with. Because let's be honest, there are a lot of scenes in the bloopers that they will say that this has made it into the episode because it was ad-lib. And I'm not saying everything has to be ad-lib, but Thomas and Joan are actually really good at ad-libbing. And I think that if more of it was, if more of the series was allowed to have ad-libbing in it and not have to be so on point, like obviously you can't ad-lib stuff like, Logan, because Logan's very, tactical. He's very specific on exactly what he's talking about. So you can't do it with his character. But I feel like Patton and Roman, you could easily get away with, being a little bit more ad-libby in terms of their lines. All this to say, I love Thomas, okay? I don't want anybody to say that I don't love Thomas or that I'm being too harsh on him. I'm being a little bit more realistic. I just think that it would be nice if because this is only going to get worse the bigger Thomas gets. Eventually he's going to have people, he doesn't have too many right now, I don't think, but eventually he's going to have people that are going to get very mad at how long they have to wait for this content if they were like me and paying into memberships, buying merch, AdSense and ad revenue or super chat or however way they're giving money to his works. Just wanted to get that out there. So you guys know where I stand, because I don't like to hold you guys in the shadows. I want you guys to know exactly how I feel about certain situations. I don't want to put on a face and pretend that everything's a-okay when it actually bothers me. I want to be able to that I want to be open with you guys. I don't want to put on a face and say, oh, everything's okay, I'm totally fine with it, when in reality I'm not. Because I don't really have any other way of showing how I feel other than these videos, because I don't really write too much anymore. I'm not an artist, and I just think it would be cool to make sure you guys know how I feel, because I react. I do things with the center sides, and I don't want to hide away any of my emotions about a situation. Yay. And I don't know what else to say. All I know is I'm very thirsty. I'm very thirsty. I wish I had brought a bottle of water up here, but I did not. But that's okay. Yeah, and that's the thing is like I've been a fan since 2017. I've been watching Thomas's content since then, and it didn't really get that bad, I don't think, until Moving On, because everybody thought it was a big deal when we had to wait a whole month for Moving On Part 2. Man, those were the days. God. We had to wait a month for the second half of Moving On. And we thought it was a long time back then. That ain't nothing now. Especially, like, do you guys realize the wait between Accepting Anxiety Part 1 and 2 is, like, 6 days? Like... And yeah, Len, that's something else, too. If you support him because you have the extra change, that's totally fine. But for somebody... for me, you know, that like, you know, I live paycheck to paycheck. It's just me, CJ, and our 4 animals. You know, and we, you know, CJ works on basically a part-time wage, and I'm full-time, but I still don't actually make that long. That's the problem. But like, I think it was after Moving On Part 2. I'm a fake fan. I don't remember what the order of the episodes is in. Why don't, instead of I guess, why don't I actually look it up? Because I have a computer in front of me. If it even works. Later. My computer wants to do updates. What a surprise. And for some reason my mouse is not connecting to it. I don't know why. Are you dead? You're not dead. You're on. He's up to me. Oh, the art that you see of my character is not me. I am not an artist. No. The character, the character that you see, on my channel, the art that's in my banner, that is fan art, that's not me. That's Maxie. It was, Avalie. She's not here, I don't think. I think she's busy with family. But, yeah, that's her art. She is one of my best friends, and she is amazing. Her art is so good. She drew my sides. She is drawn. We have a blog together called at Ask Us Sandersides. There's a dash between the Ask and Us and the Us and Sanders. And we have a story that has to do with the Sandersides, and of course their anti-sides, which are ROCs. And it's great, and she's an amazing artist, so you definitely should check her out. And Jester, I feel you. What is motivation? That's literally one of the reasons why I haven't posted anything in a while, is because I just don't have the motivation to do so. I wish I had the drive that a lot of YouTubers do, but I don't. I don't know. I wish I did, but I don't. All right, so I'm gonna look at this real quick. We're gonna go. Excuse me. Let's see here. Let's see. The fact that you guys have gotten 3 videos in this 2 months that I haven't done any live streams blows my mind, to be honest. I didn't know I was actually going to post anything. I wasn't going to, and then I did for some reason. All right. Going to Timothy's channel. Oh, I know I don't have a membership anymore. They wanted me to join again. Okay. So we're going to look at the Sandersides. I'm going to look at the thing here. So we're going in between. So if we literally, I'm going to be a nerd real quick and look at these stats. Okay. I'm going to look. So the first ever episode of the Sandersides, ready for this? Was posted on October 19th, 2016. It's a long time ago. The next episode was a month later on November 21st, 2016. So that's not terrible. That's a month and 2 days. and it was just another video on his channel, and he had done other videos in between because he didn't know that was something that was going to be a thing. It hadn't actually gotten too popular yet. I think that happened with Anxiety. So the next episode, which is the episode that Anxiety premiered on, was December 19th, which we all know because that's what a lot of the fandom considers to be Virgil's birthday. So that was the 19th. So that was a month again, basically almost exactly a month after the fact, minus 2 days. So less than a month technically. So there's that. And then A New Year of Lying to Myself in Song happened on January 2nd. So that was literally not even 2 weeks after the fact. And that one had a song in it. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure Thomas is still doing this on his own. I think he's editing all of this and recording all of it on his own. The only thing I think he had help with was the music in the thing. I think he wrote the song. So that's actually pretty good. For 2 weeks, that's amazing. Like, wow, okay. Of course, he had a lot of experience editing with his Vine Fanac stuff. So then we got The Dark Side of Disney, which was 7 days later, a week, 7 days later, and he had another episode out. Now, granted, this only had the character Thomas in it, Virgil, and Roman, and that was it. So not too bad, but like 7 days? Jeez. Now, the only big difference between that, these episodes are very short. So obviously that helps. It takes less. It's like The Dark Side of Disney is less than 6 minutes long. So obviously we have to consider that too. So let me scroll down. So not really a standard size episode, but I'm in a Disney Show. It came out the same month. It came out January 23rd, 2017. God, read. So yeah, came out, and that one had all the characters in it. So that would be, there's that. And then the next episode was Mine vs. the Heart, which came out 7 days later. Again, January 30th, 2017. That one was also 5 minutes long. Not too bad. They added in this, and this is the official list from Thomas's channel. They added in Patton doing the Dad's Big Game Day tips. I don't consider that a Standard Size episode. I don't know why it's in this list, but I don't consider it a Standard Size episode because they say Dad the entire time. They don't ever say Patton, so it's just like, I don't know. And then I can't see all your all's comments because I'm reading at the same time. So, okay, so now we're at Alone on Valentine's Day, which was posted on February 13th, 2017. So that was less than a month later. That was basically like 2 weeks. Now that one, we know from both Thomas and Joan saying it, is this is when Joan started to help. So this episode's one of the longer ones. It's 8.5 minutes long. So that's pretty decent. It's not super short, but it's not super long either. Because back then, the average time of a YouTube video was about 10 to 15 minutes long. So that's good. So that's, one of the bigger things about this episode is it does seem the characters also, if you watch this episode, the air of the characters here is actually really neat, because if you go back and look at the Mind versus the Heart and then watch Logan and Patton in this episode, they act very different. Obviously Logan is a lot more formal. This is where he starts to get more of the I'm logic, no emotions type of character, which I think was based on, I think that was Joan's suggestion. Which is fine because I think that fits Logan's character. And then, okay, so now that was February 13th. So now we're at Losing My Motivation, which was in the same month. It was February 28th, 2017. So that's, really good considering Losing My Motivation is just as long. It's still 8 minutes. And we also had outfit changes that we had to consider in the editing for this episode because Logan changes outfits and so does Patton. So that's interesting. And not to mention this is a very important episode because this is where we get Logan's name. Logan's name was, really big. And I was not in the fandom when Logan's name got announced, but from those I've talked to who were, it blew the fandom up. So that's really cool. Then we have the Q&A episode, which came out 130, like 9 days later on March 7th, 2017. So that one has a lot of editing in it because of how much is on the screen and being edited with the questions and the characters changing poses and stuff like that. So that's really good. This video is also almost 9 minutes long. So we're getting up there. We're getting longer. So the next episode of that is Am I Original, which came out March 22nd, 2017. So that's when we got Roman's name. And so that one is a little bit longer. It's almost 12 minutes. So in less than 3 months, we have gone from 5.5 minute episodes to 12-minute episodes. So it's starting to get to be more of a story at this point. Let's go. So we got My Negative Thinking is next, which is arguably one of my favorite episodes in the entire series. Hint for my future list. And also the first episode of the series I ever saw. Hooray! So this episode was really good because it's about 13 minutes long, so it's a minute longer than the one previous, but it's also just really well edited in terms of its message. This is one of the very first episodes, I think, that took a very serious idea and made it an episode that was entertaining. Because it has a lot to do with anxiety and being negative and how that's actually not necessarily a bad thing. It can be applied to logic and then you can make decisions. People can argue and say losing my motivation was a big important one, and Am I Original too, but I feel like My Negative Thinking was one of the first times they looked at a bad thing and tried to make light out of it. So then we have Growing Up, which is obviously where we get Patton's name, and this came out on May 1st. So that is a pretty big jump. We went, My Negative Thing was April 4th, so this was a whole month, so we're back at the month thing again. Growing Up was a great episode. I do really enjoy that one. And then the next one obviously took a little bit longer. So this is the thing that gets me, is when people sit there and say there's a lot of editing to do with these things and it takes a long time. Growing Up came out May 1st, 2017. Making Some Changes came out May 23rd. That's 22 days. And this episode has Thomas and Joan and Talon and Terrence and Valerie in it. That's insane. That's insane how many friends were in this episode and how much they had to record and do, and they did it in less than 2 weeks. Oh, not 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like, wow, that's crazy. So we'll skip the blooper reel. Becoming a Cartoon came out June 9th, so also less than 2 weeks later, we got Becoming a Cartoon. Now, we don't know how long that one took because that one has animation involved and also has Butch Hartman involved, and that involved Thomas going to LA, so that could have been recorded way in advance, and this episode could have been done really fast because it also has scenes of fanders in it. There are some fanders in it that are yelling at Thomas at 2 times. They yell at Thomas once at the beginning of the episode, and then they yell at Roman at the end of the episode. So we know that this episode probably was something in the making for a long time. So it doesn't really count with our timeline of how long these episodes take to make. So then we go down to Accepting Anxiety. So Accepting Anxiety, I know, came out on July 10th. So July 10th, so that's a little over a month later. And at this point, we know that Accepting Anxiety is literally just Thomas, Joan, and Talon, because it's actually in this list of the Snyder Sides thing, the behind the scenes Q&A. It's literally just the 3 of them, and they talk about it. I remember this episode airing. So, but July 10th. So then Accepting Anxiety Part 2 came out on July 15th. So 5 days later. Man, I thought that was a long time back then, because when I became a fan, the most recent episode was Becoming a Cartoon. And then the day that I started really watching it was when Accepting Anxiety Part 1 came out. And that was what really hooked me, because I really enjoyed that episode. And then Part 2 came out, and I was definitely hooked, and I went back and watched everything and got caught up. That's when I became a fan. So that was almost 3 years ago at this point, and that is crazy to think it's been that long. So anyway, so in between, so Fitting In is the next one in terms of episodes. So we go from July 15th to September 1st. Wow, I did not realize it was that long. Okay, I just spit all over my computer. So that was actually quite a long time, July 15th to September 1st. So that was over almost 2 months. We're 2 weeks short of 2 months. So that's probably the first major gap in time. But a lot of us knew that they were going to take a break because in that behind the scenes episode, if you watch it, they talk about how much time it took to make and that they have other plans they're going to do, but it's not going to be immediately. And they say that. They admit that it's going to be a little bit. So waiting for that wasn't too terrible. I remember waiting for Fitting In. I didn't think it was that big of a deal because I feel like it's because Accepting Anxiety Part 2 almost felt like a season finale of sorts. Like when you watch your favorite show and there's a season finale because they've been building up Virgil's character this entire time, you know, and then it leads to his name reveal and all that. So I could see that. So we go from September 1st to, come on, internet. My internet's being a dope. There it goes. So we go from September 1st to October 3rd. So literally a month. We waited a month for the next episode. Not bad, considering how big Moving On is. Moving On is a huge episode. We got a new intro. We got, we got the new outfits from Fitting In. The editing of Patton's room is huge, and it's really, really good. Moving On taking a long time was not surprising in terms of what we got in return. So Moving On Part 2, okay, it wasn't quite a month. It was 3 weeks. So it went from October 3rd to October 25th. So that's not terrible. That's not a full month. That's like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. So that's not terrible. And then after that, he did the Sander Sides cosplay video for Halloween, which if you watch that, I'm in it twice. It's so crazy that I'm in a video on Thomas's channel, but I'm in that video. Hooray. And also if you watch videos on his, I think was it on his side channel? I don't know, wherever the one that they did where they all do Broadway musicals and they have to sing it, they have to like finish the song or whatever. I am the featured fander in that episode, so that's really fun and exciting. Anyway, so if we go from Moving On to the Sander Sides 12 Days of Christmas. So I know this one came out December 24th because I was at church with my family at the time that it came out. So I remember that. So that was over 2 months later, which is understandable because the holidays. I will never, ever be upset at Thomas taking his time when it comes to being around holidays because he does work with a team of people. And I feel like you should definitely give your people time to work around holidays. I love the beginning. Sorry, the episode is playing, and I fucking love the beginning. I love the beginning of the 12 Days of Christmas. I just love Patton coming and going, Thomas. In Roman 2, he's doing like a little hand. He's just like, eh. It's just so funny. Oh my god, I love the beginning of this episode. It's just so good. So good. Anyway, you guys are commenting, and I can't see anything. Okay, so then the next episode is the big one. It's Can Lying Be Good? Now, we did not get this episode for 2 months, so we waited 2 months. So this episode premiered on February 3rd, 2018. Can you believe we've had Deceit for over 2 years? It's so weird to think that Deceit's been around for 2 years. But he has. So this episode came out February 3rd, so that was a little less than 2 months, because 2 months would have been February 24th. So not terrible. About a month, about 2.5 months. And so then we have Why Do We Get Out of Bed in the Morning, which came out April 12th. So that was over 2 months later. Now, Why Do We Get Out of Bed in the Morning has a lot of editing because it has the paper graphs and it also has Roman's animation in it. So that one taking a little bit longer is not too surprising. Then we have Cropters the Musical, which came out very quickly after that. Yeah, April 9th, 7 days later. I remember being blindsided by Cropters the Musical because I was just like, wait, what? It's been 7 days since the last episode. Why is there already another one? I hadn't even done my react and posted my react for Why Do We Get Out of Bed in the Morning yet. And so I was like, screw it, I'm just going to wait and post them together. So I did. So if you look on my channel, that's the reason why Logic vs. Passion and Cropters the Musical are in the same video, is because he did it too fast for me. I wasn't able to edit in time. Oops. That might be the only time that ever happens. So Cropters the Musical came out on April 19th, so Learning New Things About Ourselves is next. That wasn't until October 29th. Wow. Okay. So that is, there we go. There we go. That is the first major time waiting that we had to do, was that. Now, we know why that took forever, was because of the puppetry. The puppetry was the part that caused it to take so long. Because from April to October, we know that Thomas and Joan had considered doing the puppeteering themselves, and they realized they couldn't. So obviously they had to get a professional to come in, and luckily the professional they got was amazing. I do not remember his name. But then they also had Adam Krudinger, and the only reason why I remember his name is because I followed him on YouTube, was the guy that made the puppets of the sides. So we know that obviously making the puppets takes time as well. So this episode taking that long, I'm not that surprised because of the amount of work that went into it for the puppetry and the puppeteer. No, Adam is not the puppeteer. Adam Krudinger is the guy that made him. I think the puppeteer's guy's name was like Nate. Nate, yeah. See, Nate. Okay, I knew it started with an N. I just couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, so that episode taking, what is that? May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months. That's not bad. I mean, I think that's not terrible. Lane just asked me a question, and of course it fades away because my thing sucks. Okay, so Lane asked, do you think it would be better if they split longer episodes into shorter segments, like 2 or 3, and post them like once a week? Yes, I do. I think it would be better if the episodes were cut down to about 10 to 15 minutes. I think it would be more dramatic. I think it would feed the fandom longer. And yeah, obviously Thomas makes a joke about how, maybe it'll be 6 months for the next episode of the Center Sides at the end of that episode. That was a little much, but yeah, whatever. But yes, I think that it would be very beneficial to do 10 to 15 minute episodes and release them 2 times a month. I just think it would be good. Because you could release one in the first week of the month, and then you can release the last one at the end of the month. And then that gives you 2 weeks, and then you can start the pattern over again. So then if we go from learning things about ourselves, which is in October, we go to embarrassing phases, which was, again, Christmas Eve. So a little over 2 months of a wait, but that one had a lot of makeup work and a lot of considerable things that had to go into that to make that episode. So that episode, I'm also not that surprised that it took 2 months. It's fine. That doesn't bother me. 2 months is not that long to wait for a Sanders Sides episode. 2 months is probably the amount of time that I would consider a decent amount of time to wait for the amount of editing that goes into the Sanders Sides episodes. Okay, so from embarrassing phases, Lane just said something else, sorry. If I ever pause and I'm just quiet, I'm reading my phone for the messages from the live chat because I can't see it. Yeah, and no, I agree with that too. And I'm not trying to, be a bitch and complain. Okay, so December 24th to Selfishness versus Selflessness, which wasn't until March 31st. So you may as well say April. So that was 4 months. No, 3 months. 3 months and 6 days. So that's, again, not terrible. Anything from 2 to 3 months, I'm not that upset about. That doesn't really bother me. But this gap is, I think, the gap that we have to talk about, because we go from March 31st to June 25th. So that's not terrible, and I love how my video starts in the middle of Remus's music video. So March 31st, the only thing is we have to worry about the fact that it's a longer stretch of time in terms of years. Because Christmas, yeah, okay. So March 31st to June 25th. So that's, what is that? Little over, is that almost 4 months? Is that 4 months? I don't know. I don't know math. So if we round June, April, May, L of April, May, June, and yeah, so basically almost 2.5 months. So again, not that long. And then the gap between, so we have the gap between Dealing with Intrusive Thoughts, which is June 25th, to the Sanders Asides episode, which was November 22nd. That's a long time. That's a very long time. So that's, if we go basic, that's basically the same day. It's like 3 days apart. But if we go based on that, That's July, August, September, October, November. It's 5 months. That's a long time, yo. But now we're at the point where the Sanders Asides episode came out on November 22nd, and it is March 28th, and we still have no episode. If we count the Asides as an episode. If we don't, that means we've been waiting since June 25th of last year for a mainline episode of the Sanders Asides. So that would be July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 9 months. We're at 9 months. 8 if we don't. It's only 4 if we include the Asides episode as an episode, which I kind of do, and I only do because this episode is 19 minutes long. I don't think Thomas knows how to make short episodes anymore. I would love if he would just make content of the sides that didn't have to do with the story. But everybody's so attached to the story in these characters that, like, it sucks because I would love a bullshit episode. I would love an episode that Remus just goes freaking nuts. And we you know, and maybe Deceit has to come in and rein him in, and that's where we get our first connection between the two or whatever. And I'm really happy that the Asides thing is something that he wants to do. But again, he is stretching himself too thin. He is wanting to come up with all these ideas and do them, but he's not giving himself enough time to do them all. He's saying, well, I got to get this out. I got to get this. I got to get this. You know, I want to do the Sanders Asides. Well, we need to bring out Cartoon Therapy. Because think about Cartoon Therapy. Let's not even talk about Cartoon Therapy. Do you realize how long it's been since Cartoon Therapy and how long we've been waiting for that thing? Because I love Cartoon Therapy. I don't know about you. I think Emil Picani is one of the best best characters ever. I love Emil. And I wish we got more of him. I wish that the Cartoon Therapy doesn't take a bajillion years. Now, there is a lot more at stake with Cartoon Therapy because, as we know, based on the 2 episodes that we have, like, you know what? I'm just going to look. Hang on. I'm on his channel anyway. Oh, I forgot my mouse doesn't work. I'm just going to look. Now, Sanders Asides is meant to be canon, but it's not part of the main storyline. It's, like, separate. So, let me see here. Let's look at videos. I don't think does Cartoon Therapy have its own playlist? It shouldn't. It's, like, 2 episodes. But maybe it does. Who knows? It does. Okay, so, the first Cartoon Therapy, which was about Steven Universe, came out on December 16th, 2017. Cartoon Therapy is going to be 3 years old this year. We've had 2 episodes of that series. Now, that one takes a lot more work to do because you have a lot more people in it. It's not just Thomas's close friends. It's like his other friends that he, I guess, I don't know if they did like tryouts or whatever, if he just asked if people wanted to act in it. But it has a lot more people in it. So that's fair to say that one would take a little bit longer. So that was December 16th, 2017. I keep forgetting that my mouse doesn't work. And I don't know why my mouse isn't working. I don't know if it's this piece over here or what. I don't know. It doesn't want to work. Okay. I'll have to fix it later. So Avatar, the Avatar one, it literally was almost a year. We didn't get another episode of Cartoon Therapy until August 8th, 2018. Wow. And now we're at 2 years. We haven't seen Picani in 2 years. Because I guarantee you we're not going to have another Cartoon Therapy episode before August. So that means it's been 2 years without Cartoon Therapy. That is my problem with Thomas spreading himself too thin, because he wants to do the Sanders Asides. He wants to do Cartoon Therapy. He wants to do video game playthrough episodes because he likes video games, which is fine. You know, he wants to do all these other side things with his friends. He wants to do scripted stuff with them or unscripted stuff with them, taking them places, doing things. Totally fine. But it gets to a point where you can't have that much to do and actually get it done in a respectable amount of time, because eventually you're going to have people complain, when are you actually going to do things? And Lan, I agree. I thought this when I saw the length of the Sanders Asides, like, I could not believe that it was 20 minutes long. I was like, what happened to the 5-minute thing we all talked about? Like, I remember there being a membership episode or live stream where he and Joan sat there and they talked about the fact that the Sanders Asides episodes was going to go back to the roots of the original, with the original timeline of like Sanders Sides, and it was going to be like the old episodes that were 5 to 8 minutes long, like the very beginning. That was the joke they made. They're going to go back to their roots. And then the episode gets uploaded and it's 19 minutes. Like, okay, I know there's like a 4 or 5 minute ad for Raid Shadow Legends at the very beginning of it, but come on. Really? Like, can we not teach you anything, Thomas? Okay, the best example I can give to him is the TikTok. The TikTok that he made with every single character that he has that is popular. It had Logan, Virgil, Patton, Roman, Remus, Picani, Sleep, Deceit. It had everybody. Like, all he needs to do is to make little content like that. Like, he made a short the other day that was made to be Roman and Virgil. It was a short video. It wasn't Princey and Anxiety from the shorts. The shorts are a whole other thing that he also wants to do. That's it, and that's the thing, is like, that little short video was hilarious. And they did that just while recording, because it was clearly Roman and Virgil, because they had their new outfits on. It wasn't the old ones. So we know now to associate the old outfits, the old outfits with the shorts characters, and the new outfits with the Sanders Asides characters. And exactly, and that's what I was going to get to. It was a short video, but the fandom was on it for like at least a month, if not longer. We were fine. People were theorizing and having all this stuff. And I hate to do this to you guys, but it is hot in my room right now, and I have to... I don't know. I'm sorry if this fan is loud, but I am dying of heat stroke right now. Because of my long sleeve shirt, and I don't want to change. So that right there was amazing. And if they would just do that more often, realize that not every single one of us is craving a 45 to 50 minute episode for these characters. I love these boys. It's clear that I love these boys. I just want content. That's literally all I want. I just want some content to enjoy and have more to write about, to have more to enjoy with their characters. I don't need all this angst like everybody else. I would love some carefree episodes. The Asides was a great start. And I think if he just bent into that a little bit more and do smaller situations, I think it would just be great. Like, what about the anxiety of getting ready in the morning? I think it would be, I just think it'd be great if, like, he talks about the anxiety of getting ready in the morning, like the anxiety of, getting ready to go to work, or, talking, about little things like that. And I think that would just be really nice. And the thing is like, my channel right now is stagnant because I've really said all I can say. I need more content. I know I can't sit there and theorize and talk about the same things for over 10 months. I can't. It just doesn't work like that. And somebody said something and it was long and I couldn't read it because it goes away. And yeah, that's true. Who said that? Jester? The video on Thomas's second channel that was with Thomas and Jonah, and he brought in Logan. That was so funny, and it was perfect. That's exactly what I want. I just want little content of these characters. I mean, even if you did a joking thing where I know a lot of people headcanon this, and I actually think the headcanon is pretty cute. I thought it would be really cool to like maybe see a scene where the sides just talk to each other, because maybe they're actually just friends. Like, what if, like, you know, Thomas is like, they go along the joke that Thomas is like a quintuplet or something, and they're all just cosplaying and having fun. Or if the sides actually do exist, they're just playing characters. They're not actually like, this is not exactly what they represent in like real Thomas. You know, like I am so tired of everything having to be so melodramatic and so into the story that's being told, because I like the story, but I'm so tired of everything being so negative. Like, I want a happy episode. Like, I swear, once we get the, I never ever want to hear anything about the wedding versus the callback ever again after this next episode. I just don't. I am so done with that angst. I'm tired of it. I'm not having fun talking about the wedding versus the callback anymore. It's just not interesting, because we all know he should have chosen the callback, because of the fact that he doesn't choose himself over anything. He always chooses his friends or whatever, so we know the callback was the right decision. So once we get the conclusion, whatever that conclusion may be in this next episode, I just want to drop it. I just want to drop it. I just want to never think about it ever again, because I am so tired of theorizing about what exactly selfishness versus selflessness meant in terms of, like, what was Deceit's real point and all this stuff. Like, I have talked myself deaf over that stuff. I can't handle it anymore. I can't. And yes, Lan, I totally agree. Let's get a whole episode of Logan doing nothing but just, like, what if he, like, pops up, maybe Thomas, character Thomas finally took that class he said he was going to take for Logan that he mentioned at Moving On Part 2. And, he's working on that work, and so Logan shows up to help him, and he's in his onesie, and Thomas is just like, what? And Logan's like, what? It's professional. It's a unicorn. Get over it. Or something like that. I don't know. I think it's funny. Like, show that these characters have more than just their things, I guess. I don't know. But, like, it's frustrating, because as a theorist, I can only do what is given to me. I'm not an artist. I can't create like that. I can't create in a way that an artist can, in terms of drawing the characters in different outfits, or theorizing what a femme version of them would wear, or what a non-binary version of them would wear. I can't. I don't have that creativity in terms of being able to draw to do that. And I don't have, and I'm a writer, but I'm not very big on the fantasy stuff. I'd rather write stuff in canon, like exploring the characters' motivations and what they do. I prefer that, but I'm really at a standstill right now, because I need to know the real meaning behind SVS. Until I know the real meaning behind SVS, I don't want to write anything in canon, because it's just going to change. It's just going to change in terms of that. So it's just like, I don't know. And that's the thing. And that's why I'm really big on mine and Maxie's story, because we have our own anti-sides to talk about, and their relationship to the Sander sides. And I love helping, I don't draw, but I help write the story. And I love writing that story, because I can explore these characters and their relationship with the Sander sides, and not have to worry about what the mainline Sander sides is doing. I can explore these other characters, and that it works out that way. Oh, Jester, be careful. Be careful of the stormies. It's hot here. It's not actually raining here. And Len, yeah, I can understand that's probably even harder for artists too, because, like, eventually you draw everything that exists. Eventually you run out of things to do if the characters don't change clothing, or there's not enough story plot for you to write, like, maybe a small comic or something, or eventually all the jokes are told. It's just like, you can't run a fandom on Steam or whatever. Rainbow Teal, Maxie is a friend of mine. She's sometimes in the chat. She's not here today. But if you go to ask-us-Sandersides on Tumblr, you will see our story. You can click the story button, and it will let you read the story through. It is a comic that Maxie started writing before I was friends with her, and then I started talking to her because I really enjoyed her art, and it became a thing, and it's huge, it's great, and I love my anti-sides boys. There are OCs in it. Anti-sides are a side of the side. It's complicated. But it's great, and you should enjoy it. Maxie does all the art, and we both write the story. I'm there as a backup. I'm also there because Maxie is German, so sometimes English can be a little difficult for her in terms of getting some nuance across. So I'm there to help write the script to get what she means across. I don't write the script all the time, but I do sometimes. Um, but it's great. Um, and yeah, and I used to commission people to do art too, Jester. I used to commission a lot when I was in high school because I didn't have bills. And then I became an adult. I grew up. I don't recommend it. But anyway, so that's my main thing. And you know, I really hope that eventually with this pandemic thing, I know the episode is going to be delayed now, and it could be delayed for a couple more months. It could be over a year until, you know, we get, it could be that we wait a full year in terms of like when it was posted to when it gets, you know, when the last episode was posted until we actually get the new episode. It could be till May because we don't know how long this virus thing is going to stick around. I know I've been watching trends, and I live in a state with an amazing governor who's become a meme apparently in terms of how well he's handling the situation. Um, but apparently, my state's doing really well, and I know there are a lot of other states that are doing well, but there are some that aren't, and the virus is just getting around. So, until we get through this pandemic together, it could be a while, and things could be delayed for a long time, which is in that case totally fine because of the safety of Thomas and his friends is, of course, the utmost importance. It's more along the lines of like the other 9 months before this stuff happened that I have a problem with. Um, but like I said, if you were able to support Thomas monetarily and the money lost doesn't hurt you, I would definitely keep doing it because, if everybody stops, then, he wouldn't have money to pay the people that work for him and himself. It's a big difference. But in terms of the virus that shall not be named, it's going to become Voldemort at this rate. I don't know that much, but I do recommend, listening to the CDC guidelines if you're, in the United States, on the WHO for the world. It's the United Nations World Healthcare Organization. I think that's what it stands for. Excuse me. I burped. Excuse me. And just making sure you're following the guidelines and staying, as home as you can. And making sure that you are able to stay safe and not cause more of a problem for the people who are forced to be on the front lines, such as our healthcare workers and providers and people who are considered essential business workers. I mean, that's cool, and that's a good thing to do. Maybe I'll call it Voldemort then. And I'll just say, he who must not be named if I don't want to say it. But it hasn't affected me specifically yet because where I live in my state, in my county, there have been 30 cases, I think, in my county. I think, but I live. I don't care if you guys know where I live. There's 17 of you in here. I live in Kentucky, which I guess should be obvious by the way I say Kentucky because I have an accent. But our Governor Andy Beshear, he has been doing an amazing job in terms of flattening the curve in our state. Our state could have a lot more cases in it, but he jumped on the gun in closing schools. He jumped on the gun in closing restaurants on the inside. He closed bars. He closed non-essential retail. I know that's affecting the unemployment rate, but like he's doing a great job. He's opened unemployment for a lot of people. He's waived the 2-week wait. It's going to help my dad because my dad has a self-owned business. He's a sole proprietor, so it's going to help him, and it's going to help a lot of families who are forced to stay home because their kids are out of school. And he's doing a great job, and I just hope that the rest of the United States takes his advice. And they govern their state in a similar way that Andy has done ours, because he has done an amazing job. He's done really good. Oh, bye, Emo. See you later. Yeah, and ukulele nerd, you know, your state has 2,000 cases. I'm not sure how many are in Kentucky. I think it's around the same amount. I'm pretty sure. I think it's around 2 to 3,000 cases at this point. But in terms of our population, that is incredibly small. Um, in terms of how many people live in our state. Now I know Kentucky is kind of it's a smaller state in terms of like the size of city, because the city I live in I think is like number 4 or 5 and it's pretty small. So I've kind of let you figure out where I live. Whoops. Um, but anyway, the point is that I feel like a lot of us um, just need to abide by the stay-at-home suggestions made by our local governments. And I'm saying local government because the federal government has pissed me off and I don't want to talk about it. Because I do not like our current federal government in the United States. And if I start talking about it, I will get demonetized because, I will rant and rave until the sky is dark. Trust me. And it's only 1:25 in the afternoon right now. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys stay happy and healthy during this time of quarantine. If you are being forced to stay at home, I know a lot of you are young. There's no school right now, and so you're being forced to stay inside. But just remember that is very important, because this virus, the way that it works, we could all be carriers and not know, because it takes over 14 days for you to even show symptoms. You could be carrying it around that entire time. You could spread it to other people and not even know that you're doing it. So it's very important for you to stay inside unless you absolutely have to go out for essentials like groceries or, medicine at pharmacies or things like that. And make sure you're only sending one person. Don't go with a whole family of people. But that's one thing that makes me mad about my current job is yesterday, I don't work weekends. I don't even want to think how busy it is there right now because it's warm outside where I live. It's like 70 something degrees. And I'm watching people going in and out of my store with gardening stuff, and they're pulling full carts of mulch and soils and flowers and seeds for other flowers and shit. And I'm just like, do you need that right now in a pandemic? Like, do you really need it? Like, I don't know. It's just so frustrating. And I understand you don't pay too much attention, but this is something you will never see again in your lifetime, and you should definitely pay more attention. As I said earlier, I'm 29 years old, almost 30, and I will never see something like this in my life. We are living through history right now in terms of this virus. It's crazy to think that the situations and things that are happening right now will be written down forever in terms of how major this is in our lifetimes. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. And this isn't a disease anymore or a virus. This isn't a virus that can only affect, it's not that it can only affect older folks. And it's something that can affect everybody. And I don't say this to scare anyone, but I know that a lot of you are young, but there has been a 17-year-old that has died from this. He had no complications, no nothing. He got the virus and he died. So that's the thing and that's the thing is that until everybody starts taking it seriously, the talking and discussions and understanding the effects will not stop. And that's the problem. Is that the news is talking about it because it gets them ratings, but the important thing is until people start to social distance and actually stay at home like they're supposed to, this will never end. Because of how easy it is to pass along this virus. Like, if you have the virus and you are in a room and you sneeze, that virus will live in the air for over 3 hours. You could be gone and have been gone, and someone else can walk into that room and get the virus from you. It can live on surfaces for even longer than that. That's why it's very important to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. Find a song that you like. Find 20 seconds of it that you can memorize and sing that while washing your hands. Make sure to sanitize surfaces that everybody touches if you go out. Don't touch carts unless you know that the store that you're going in is sanitizing those carts. And even if they are, be careful. And also, I see a lot of people wearing masks. Don't wear a mask unless you're sick. And if you're sick, you shouldn't be leaving home anyway. Masks are not for the healthy. They're for the people that are around the virus, the people who are sick or the people that are having to deal with the people that are sick. They're not for the average everyday person. It's just not, it doesn't matter. And that's the thing that, like, it's not, this isn't a joke anymore. And they're not doing funerals, Jester. That's the whole thing. You can't do funerals right now. There have been so many articles on people that are dying through this that they can't give them a proper burial because you can't have a funeral. There's too many people. And at least in my city, the hospital has made it where only one person can be in the room with somebody if they're sick. They can only have one visitor, and the visitor can only stay 10 minutes. They can't stay very long. And then on top of that, I've had multiple people that I know give birth over the past month or so, last couple of weeks, and nobody was allowed in the room with them when they had the baby. Not even the partner that is also their child. Because you can't risk it. Because if the mom has the virus, if the mom is positive for coronavirus, she cannot pass it in her blood to her baby. But the baby must be immediately taken away from her, and she probably can't see her own child that she just gave birth to, that she carried for 9 months, for over 2 weeks. Just because she has to quarantine herself, or she could give it to her child. That's how serious this is, guys. And I don't say that to scare, because like Governor Beshear keeps saying to all of us Kentuckians, because he does this hour-long discussion every day about new cases, about new deaths, and about steps he's taking to make us a safer state. He talks about the fact that this virus is only, it's really important to just stay at home and be healthy at home. And a lot of people are brushing this off, thinking it's not that big of a deal, that it's just the flu. And it doesn't help that that's what our federal government is saying too, which is false. There's only one person in the government that you should listen to right now, and that's Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's the only person you should listen to. I don't know his actual title in terms of what he's in charge of, but I know he's in charge of a lot of things of healthcare at the national level, and he's the only person you should listen to. I know there are a lot of other doctors on YouTube that are doing a lot of good things. The best one would probably be Dr. Mike. He's been doing a lot of videos in terms of what the government is telling us that's actually true and what is false. And he's a doctor, and he works on the front lines with this, and he's also making YouTube videos to help protect us all. So please, I implore you. I think Philip DeFranco, he did a video either yesterday or the day before with Dr. Fauci asking questions that I know a lot of people are needing to know. And I think it's also very important that you watch those videos. Watch his videos. Find Dr. Mike. He has a lot of videos on the coronavirus. Everything that I know, that I have to know for my job, in terms of like the CDC and stuff, like, you need to know this stuff, because I have to work with the public. I have to protect myself, but it's also my job to protect the people around me in case I am a carrier. I work with the public. I have no idea whether or not I'm a carrier, because there's not a test kit that can tell me if I'm a carrier, because the test kits need to be saved for the people who are actually sick, so they can determine whether or not they have the flu type A, flu type B, or if they have this virus. And that's literally the best advice I can give. And I wanted to talk about it because of the fact that I work with the public, and there are so many people not taking this seriously. They're just not. They think it's just an extended vacation. The amount of full families I have coming into my job pisses me off. You don't need to go shopping with your entire family right now. Your kids can get this virus and they can die. This is serious. This is not something to make fun of. And yes, we can still go on with our lives. Obviously, we have to go shopping for groceries and other necessities, but you don't have to take your full family of 10. Maybe make it a trip with just you and one of your children. Yes, obviously some people need grocery help, so obviously bring one more person. But this whole thing of bringing in full families is ridiculous. It's not necessary. It's just, I don't consider myself working on the front lines because I'm not a healthcare worker, but I feel like I am almost kind of working on the front lines, because I am a person that has to work with hundreds of people a day. Yeah, and I heard that. I heard that Prince Charles he tested positive for the coronavirus. Oops, I said it. So demonetization time. Too late. I don't care. But the point is that I just, nobody, And it sucks right now that we have to social distance ourselves, but it's for the safety of those of us who matter to each other. It's important to do these things for the people that you love. It's important to talk with your friends who might take this, thing as a joke, and tell them there are people who are dying from this. This is a pandemic because of how fast it spreads. It's not just another virus, another flu or whatever. No, this is just as bad as SARS was in the past. It's just as bad as the bird flu or whatever. It's crazy to think of how easily anybody can get this virus and how deadly it can be. Yes, the mortality rate is actually rather low in terms of other sicknesses, but the fact that so many people are getting sick at the same time, Italy is the perfect example of this. Is that Italy, I believe they had universal health care, but it wasn't enough because they ran out of space for people. They ran out of ventilators because this makes you short of breath. It makes you unable to breathe. So the thing is that we can't all get sick because none of our countries can handle everybody getting sick at once. There's just not enough. Like in my state alone, I think Governor Beshear said there was a max of like 1,400 ventilators, something like that. In my state, that's it. 1,400. There's more people in my town probably. Like definitely. Like my town's a pretty big town, so there's more people in just like my town alone than there are ventilators in my entire state. If we all get sick, our healthcare won't be able to cover it. And then all these people sitting there hoarding all this toilet paper and especially the masks. If you are a healthy person, you do not need a mask. You just don't. You don't need one. You need to stay home. Masks are for those who are already sick and for those who are treating the ones that are sick. If you know someone who has hoarded the M95 rated masks that actually have the respirator on the tip and are completely locked around your mouth, they need to give those to hospitals or doctors, anybody who can use them, because an average person does not need that. I also think it's very important to note that if someone tells you to wear gloves, learn about cross-contaminations. Just the good thing is, though, is my state has, because as I said earlier, Governor Beshear has done a very good job in terms of stopping the spread by closing a lot of public things. If your family member has someone that could do shopping for them, that would probably be the best thing to do at this moment, because I know a lot of people in my city are not taking this seriously. And the stores that are open, Walmart, grocery stores, I think Target's still open because they sell groceries. My store is still open in terms of, hardware stores and stuff like that. But we also have a little bit of grocery and a little bit of paper products. If they are going shopping, they need to send somebody to do it for them, because there is a lot of people who are not taking it seriously still, even at this point. But it's also important to learn cross-contamination. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, wear gloves, you'll protect yourself. Wearing gloves is pointless if you don't change them after doing something. So if I wear gloves and I'm working at work and I am touching somebody's stuff and I scan through it all and I have gloves on and I scan it and I help them bag their stuff, if I don't change my gloves and I go grab my phone and start playing with my phone, I have put everything on my hands on my phone too. And then if somebody calls me, I've put it on my face. Cross-contamination is a thing, and the only way to protect yourself is to just wash your hands. Wearing gloves does not matter. Wearing gloves will not protect you, because you're going to go touch things that you're going to touch again later with your gloves off. So the only people who really need gloves and really need masks are the people that are working with the sick, or working, and you are sick. But you shouldn't even be working if you're sick. If you're sick, you should be home. And thank you for Mandy for that actual total, 302. I'm glad that Kentucky has next to no cases, like in terms of the rest of the world. Because I know New York City and New York in general is terrible, and that's where CJ is from. CJ is from Brooklyn. So, I guess I'm done ranting about that, because it's been about 30 minutes since I started ranting about the coronavirus. And I already ruined my monetization, so I don't care. But yeah, so, it's very important to take the coronavirus very, very seriously. Do the best you can to protect yourself. I know staying inside sucks, but something important to note is that you don't have to completely isolate yourself inside unless you are sick. Now, if you're sick, then yes, you need to stay inside and self quarantine. But if you are social distancing is different than self quarantining. Self quarantining means you have sick or have shown symptoms, or you tested positive even if you show no symptoms, which is called asymptomatic. Some people they get confused. If somebody is asymptomatic, that means they have tested positive for the coronavirus, but they don't actually show symptoms themselves. But they still need to self quarantine. So this doesn't apply to people who are actually tested positive, show symptoms, or don't show symptoms but have tested positive. If you are social distancing, you are still able to go for walks outside. Try not to be in groups of 3 or more, but you can still go outside. That's totally fine. Take your dog for a walk. Go for a walk with family members. The people who live with you, you can stay around them. It's more along the lines of complete strangers, because you need to make sure that you take care of yourself. That doesn't mean you can sit there and love all over your family all the time like you normally do. It's important to practice social distancing in your family, but it's also important to take care of yourselves and clean your home. You know your home is clean if you are cleaning it, so it's less likely for you to get it from family members because you live in the same environment. But you can go for walks. You can go outside. You can play. You can, go to the park and walk around parks. In my area, they've closed playgrounds. But even then, playgrounds are not a great place to go during a virus because it can live on surfaces and millions of kids touch things, and kids love to touch things with their little hands. So maybe not that. But you can at least go out and walk. You can get out of your house without having to go to the store and cause it to be busy, or having to go to another public place that might have a lot of people in it. So that's I guess that's really all I wanted to say. I had to talk about it because it's been on my brain this entire time, and it's just, this is so serious, and it just doesn't seem like anybody's taking it that way. But I hope you guys will be okay for the next couple of months while this virus spreads around the world, and I hope all your family members will be okay. And I just wanted to share the knowledge that I have, because I feel like it's important to get this knowledge out there, because I care about you guys and I want you to know what I know. And that's pretty much it. Jester said, "Aw, I'm sorry it's storming now." It's been raining a lot in my area too, actually. It just doesn't stop raining, but now we're in like the upper 70s and it hasn't rained in a couple days, so there's that. Thanks, Len, I appreciate it. I'm glad that I was able to help even a little bit. And it's just, and I'm hoping that talking with you guys about this kind of helps, because my depression has been absolutely terrible the past couple of weeks, and my anxiety has not been any better because of the coronavirus. You can always take an umbrella, Jester. We take an umbrella and do a walk. As long as it's not like a storm, like thunder cracking up. Anyway, I thought I might end this live stream with some kitties. It's been 2 months. You guys haven't seen my cats. I am going to step over there and change my shirt so I can pick up Dot without getting white all over this. Dot is not in here, and neither are the kittens. So I feel like it would be cool. I thought it would be pretty neat for you guys to see them. And also, social distancing, don't forget that, that's one of the other major reasons I did this video, this live stream anyway, is because don't forget the technology that we all have. You can FaceTime friends. You can even, talk through windows. Like, maybe one of them can come to your house, as long as they stay far enough away, and you guys can chat. 6 feet is really the recommended distance, at least in my job. That's what the CDC guidelines we have to follow, is 6 feet between people. So don't forget, technology is a thing. Talk over stuff. It's, exactly, even in there. Zoom's another big one. I don't know all the talking stuff. But I'll be right back. I'm going to change my shirt, and then I'm going to go get Dot. Hang on. Oh. Oh, man. Okay. Pat in solidarity, because I still like Pat. Anyway, hang on. Okay. Hey, not God, but I found Virgil. Ugh. Let's see. I found Virgil. Isn't he a big boy now? Look how big he is. Oh, baby, it's okay. He complained. This is Virgil. For those of you who've never met, this is Virgil. He is almost a year old. Can you guys believe I've almost had them for a year now? His birthday is in the middle of April. He's sleepy because I picked him up off of CJ's bed and he was just here. Hang on. No stretch? Nope, no stretch. Okay. Alright. Okay. Here's a good picture of his face. Virgil, look. You want to look at the screen? Be like, hi guys. Be like, hello. My name is Virgil. Ow. You're so cute. You're so cute. Oh, baby. I'm sorry. You don't like being held like that? Well, I can hold you like this. Is that better? You don't like being held like that? Okay. I will hold you like that then. He's just laying on me now. He's okay, buddy. Aw. He's okay. I gotta go get your sister. And your other big stepsister. He is definitely... Now, the reason why... For those of you who don't know, the reason why his name is Virgil, other than the fact that I'm a nerd, is because when he was a kitten, he meowed all the time. He would never stop. He was constantly just anxious if you were not near him or holding him or letting him play. He just all the time. Now that he's older, he doesn't really do it. But when he was a kitten, I mean, gosh bless, he was always wanting affection and attention. Oh, he likes that. Oh, he likes to scratch. Oh, he likes to scratch. Okay, I'm gonna go get your sister now. Go over there. Alright, I'm gonna go get his sister. Be right back. Yeah, I'll bring both of them. I'll be right back, Rachel. You stay here. Watch the camera. You watch the camera for me? Okay. Dot's complaining, so I'm putting her down. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Here's Callie. This is my baby girl. Baby. So this is Callie. C-A-L-I. She is Virgil's sister. She is the same age. She was also asleep, so she looks a little sleepy. Hey, you do. Good girl. Yeah, she's gotten a little bit more color in her. She's gotten a little bit bigger, so she has a lot more orange than she does black. So, I'm out of breath because I'm overweight and I had to walk up and down the stairs. But anyway, So, yeah, this is Callie. Can you say hi, Callie? Can you say hi? Look at Callie, say hi. Say hi, everybody. I'm Callie. Here's your playing Callie. She's significantly smaller than her brother. It's hard to show, but she's actually not nearly as big as Virgil is. Alright. So now it's time for the butt head. Oh, shush. Can you shut up? Okay. Are you done yet? Alright. Will you stop? You're so rude. Yes, you are. You're incredibly rude. Yes. So this is Dot. So rudish little shit in the world, but I love her. So Dot will be 13 years old this year. So she's cranky because she's old. I'm not lying to them. You're mean and you get mad real fast. Mostly because I picked up Callie and you and carried you both at the same time. Here, she'll stretch for me. Oh, shut up. Shut up. Just stretch. Oh my gosh, Dot. What is your problem? You're so mean. And the problem thing with Dot is that she's all bark and no bite. She'll literally sit here and hiss and be mad like this and then turn around and kiss me. Like that. You're so full of poopy. Go on. She's in a bad mood. It's fine. Anyway. I have had Dot for 13 years. Except for the first 9 weeks of her life, I've had her for the rest of that time. I got her when I was 17 years old. It was July 17th, 2007. That's how long I've had Dot. She's my baby. She's basically my daughter. For how long I've had her and how much, doctor's appointments and stuff we've had to go through. She's basically my daughter. But anyway, figured you guys could get some entertainment. I figured it'd be cool to get some animal seeing. The kittens went out of my room. They're over there. Virgil, Callie, what are you doing, you two? You silly babies, what are you doing? You went out of the room? Maybe we can go find Lola. Where's Lola at? Huh? Would the people want to see Lola? Lola is a dog. Lola is the Yorkie that you guys hear in the background of a lot of my videos. Oh man, that's the same age as you guys? Wow, that makes me feel really old. I'm 17 years older than most of you guys. Holy crap. Not really. You have to do the butt cleaning on my camera. Is that necessary? Don't lick me with the same time you just licked your butt with. Anyway. But yeah, I'll go see if we can bring Lola in here. I might turn my light on. Oh. See, look how much alike they look. Look how much alike they look. They look just alike in the face. They have the same shaped face. Alright, on the bed. Lola. Come here, Lola. Come here. Come here, puppy. Come here. People want to see you. Come here. Are you going to come here? Or are you just going to bark at me? Bye, Callie. Come here, Lola. Go on, Virgil. You can go. Lola, come here, silly dog. she doesn't go anywhere without CJ, so that's the problem. Where are you going? She's like, I'm gonna go back on the bed. I think she thinks that she's gonna get like. Oh, okay. Well, let me see. Sorry, it's a really not good close-up of my face. Sorry about that. Let me do this. Let me switch the camera around. Alright, so there's Dot. Dot is very healthy. She could live to be almost 20 if she stays healthy. baby. Oh, you're so mad. I know. Yeah, we're going to go to Lola because she's being a butt. I don't care if I have to record under the bed. Okay, I got to put a frame back on to hold this stupid phone. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go to Lola because she is under CJ's bed.
She's under here somewhere?
Here we go.
Come here, Virgil.
Get out of the way, Virgil.
Come here, little boy.
Get out of the way. There's Lola. Hi, Lola. I just wanted to put you on camera. The people want to see you. They can't see you under there. This doesn't light up your face very well.
Yeah. And it might blink out because it's been dropped a bunch of times and it might decide not to work anymore.
Oh, hi, Lola. Oh, Callie's here too, from what I hear. Ta-da. Lola, you're being such a butt. There you are. Oh, I feel sniffing behind me. Hi, Callie. Don't run away. It's fine. You're fine. Easy, Callie.
There you go. And there's boy.
There's the boy. It's what we call Virgil. He's the boy.
The boy.
And this is the boy's favorite toy. He loves this toy.
It's the boy.
There he goes.
Give me that. Yes, even as you put it down, I think the light went out. Yeah. Still on.
Okay. Yeah, exactly, ukulele. The boy!
Yes.
You gotta scream it. That's exactly what we do. And sometimes we even make a Legend of Zelda Wind Waker joke and say, oi! For those of you who get that joke. No, it's mine. Virgil can have it, it's mine. Okay. I guess for those of you who have not been on some of my live streams, I can do a tour of my room, which has a lot of nerdy stuff in it, including all of the current Standard-Size posters, except for 4 of them. They're on their way. Callie's still here. Callie! Callie girl. Oh, she run. Here she goes. Bye, Callie. Okay, so our mess. Dot's still here. Hi, Dot. Okay. So, these... I can't really get a good shot because my camera doesn't go that wide because I'm using my phone. But these are all of the current Standard-Size posters. I have all of them. It goes all the way up to Moving On Part 2. So, I have all of them. And then I have 4 more coming, which are the next 4 episodes, whichever ones those are, because I didn't pay attention earlier when we were going through the episodes. And then I have my Ace flag, because Ace represent. And then I have Persona 4 and 5, which are 2 of my favorite games of all time. I love them. And then I have some Detective Pikachu stuff, and my plushies, my Nestleberries of Rico and Umi. Then I have all of my games and all of my anime. Well, not all of my anime. All of my anime that I kept. I have like 2 totes worth of other anime that I'm selling, but that's all the anime that I kept. I can get a little closer. So these are all my video games, plus some Code Geass memorabilia, because Code Geass is my favorite anime of all time. But yeah, so these are all my games. And then we got some Game Grumps merch. There's some of the Thomas cards. Anime, and I love Yuri on Ice. Go down here, and there's the Crofter's jar, 1 signed by Thomas and 1 empty that I kept. And some more anime, and then my Hamilton playbook with some more anime. And then more anime at the bottom, because I'm an anime nerd. And then we have my really dirty desk that I need to clean that just has stacks and stacks of papers. And then I have my video game setup. I have a Switch, and I have an Xbox 360, a PlayStation 4. I have my SNES, my Nintendo 64, my GameCube. They're all in the closet because it takes up too much space. So yeah, and then I have my Fire Emblem amiibos here because Fire Emblem is one of my favorite game series of all time, and I love all the characters, so they're all their amiibos are right there. Then I have my plushies. Did you guys see this in the background of my video all the time? But I have all my plushies. here. I always keep them aligned, and then I have some on my bed. They're usually stuffed in the cracks so the kittens can't get in there, but yeah. I like anime a lot. Oh, and these are the other two posters that I have of the Sander sides that I never show because they're behind my camera. Both of these were bought for me by CJ. CJ bought me both of these. The limited Sander sides one and then the big Virgil poster. But I love both of these posters. I wish I had a way of putting them over here where you can see them in the background, but I can't. And the way that everything's going to work out when I get the 4 new posters is I'm going to take down the Ace flag, I'm going to move it, and I'm going to move the Persona posters and this fan art, one of some standard size fan art that I purchased. I'm going to take all of those and scoot them that way and kind of hang them up over on this area where there's nothing on the wall. And then the posters, one of them is landscape style, which is the first one that's like that. But this space in between the light switch and the bed is perfect. So they're going to go right there. And then I'm going to put the other 3 over here. And then I'll just move these over with how much space I need. And then I'll have all the posters until they release the final 4, which includes up until Dealing with Intrusive Thoughts. And Crofters taste good. For those of you who don't know, back when Crofters first came out, it's been a while, I actually did a taste testing thing for Crofters. I'm not a big fan of spreads or anything. There it goes. See how long ago this expired? Holy crap. But I never opened it, so it's okay. But I'm not a big fan of fruits. I don't really like fruits, and I don't really like fruit spreads. I'm not really a jelly person or a jam type of person. But I love Crofters. I actually did a live taste testing thing on my channel. There's a video where I taste test Crofters on camera for the first time. And it really surprised me. I actually thought it was really good. Oh, and you guys can't see this. It fell down, but I have a picture here. This is Lucky, and he was the first cat I ever had growing up. He was such a sweetheart. He unfortunately passed away when he was only 7 years old of kidney failure, unfortunately. But yeah, Lucky was such a good cat. And then I had this runt right here. Hi, Dad. How's it going? How's it going? Lick, lick, lick. A bush. A bush. Meow. 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 You're fine. You're fine. Kiss the finger. Lick, lick. This is why I said that she's all bark and no bite. The Crofters strawberry is actually really good too, by the way. I don't have many nerd things out right now, mostly because I keep my cats keep my stuff out because my cats keep knocking it over. So that's why I don't have too much out right now. Most of it's just Sander sides because it can go on my wall. Bye, Em. Enjoy your food. See you later. I need to eat lunch. I'm actually kind of hungry. But anyway, guys, I will turn this back around to me. Hello. Sorry for the thing. And I don't know if any of you all noticed, but I actually colored my hair. I don't know if it's that obvious on this camera, but it's actually like a red. You can't really see it unless I go outside. But yeah, it's like a reddish color. Something that I could color to get rid of my grays, but not dark enough that I would get in trouble with my job, because my job is like, you cannot have a natural colored hair. And so it would be purple if I could have purple, but I can't. So this is where we stand. So that's why it's like a reddish colored thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else nerdy I can show you guys. Not really. I don't really have anything else in my house. Oops. Because I don't have anything hanging in the living room. Not right now, because it's a pigsty down there. Because we got rid of our storage unit because because I was tired of paying $75 a month for it. So I decided that I was going to just bring it all to my house. So now my living room is my storage unit, and there's a lot of junk down there. A lot of junk. Dot, why do you have to be cute once I turn off the camera? Look at how cute she is. What's she doing down there? He's so cute. She's like, I'm not grumpy no more, Mama. I'll be a good girl now, Mama. Yeah, I'd be a good girl now. But, I will spend the next, like, 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to lay on my bed because I'm lazy. I'll spend the next 10-15 minutes. If there's anything you guys want to ask me / talk about / suggestions for my channel / anything, I'm open right now. This is the time. This is the time to speak. I'm also going to probably commission some more artists to draw more art of me so I can use different art in my videos, because I thought that would be cool. I need like a brand. I need to like stick with a brand, like make a logo and stuff, but I'm just so lazy. So lazy. I'm gonna make Dot mad again by playing with her tail. She's mad at me now. That's okay. Oh. Oh man. The anti-sides were a thing that kind of came out of necessity, because Maxie had made a story where there was an entity attacking the sides that looked like Roman, and I made the suggestion that what if it was all of Roman's negative thinking made into being, and this was before Remus, so we made a character and named him Mephisto, and that's how it came to be. So Mephisto was the first anti-side to actually exist, and then we made anti-sides of all the other characters that I will let you find out by reading the story. Even Remus has one. So and the way the anti-sides work in terms of how they're created, based on the actual side, is different. It varies depending on what side you're talking about. Like Virgil's anti-side is about how sweet and calm some anxiety can be. And then Patton's anti is more about the emotions that we hide inside and how it's easy to overload yourself with emotions, and that's how that character reacts, and so on and so forth. And it's just really good. You should just read it. Ukulele asked, do you recommend any good movies? I have some recommendations if anyone's bored. Shout out your recommendations, man. I am not a movie watcher very much. I watch mostly Disney movies and a movie here and there, but I'm not really a big movie watcher, so throw out your suggestions, man. I'm the worst person to ask when it comes to that. Yeah, I think, Jester, I think, you should do what you want, man. And I feel like, it would be good to, like, broaden your horizons a bit with your own content. So, yeah, definitely. If any of you watch any anime, if there's any good ones that you feel like I haven't seen that have come out within the past couple of years, those suggestions would be good too, because I am sorely lacking in watching anime. The only anime content I really get is from the Anitubers that I watch, and I only watch 2 of them. I watch The Anime Man and Giguk, and that's it. I don't watch anybody else. Sorry for the continuously shaking camera. I'm holding my tripod on my bed. I have heard of Little Witch Academia. Rainbow, the only problem with that is that I think, at least it used to be, it's probably on Funimation now, but I think it was only on Netflix. I think. So I couldn't watch it because I didn't have Netflix. But I did want to check it out, because that was made by Trigger, I believe, so I'm actually really interested. Vic, I have seen the first season of the Fruits Basket reboot, so don't you worry. I have seen that. Fruits Baskets was a big thing when I was kid. Fruits Basket was the big anime that everybody watched when I was young. So when they did a reboot, I was like, okay, I gotta watch this, and it's so much better than the original. I'm really excited. Okay, so Ukulele Nerd gave us a movie reference, a movie recommendation. Let's read it. Thriller buff, so there's this one called The Searching. It's about a dad whose daughter goes missing. It's insanely good. A lot of shocking twists. Stars John Cho. I like John Cho. That's cool. That almost sounds like, what is that movie with the guy in it that makes the joke about, you're taking my father, you're taking my daughter, I will find you and I will kill you. It's almost what it sounds like. Yeah, Jester, go for it. I think audiobooks are a great idea, and I wish they were a little bit more common in this fandom. I've considered, I know there's a Tumblr that was going to do audiobooks. They were like taking people's suggestions and stuff about reading fanfic for, for people who can't read the actual text, like to let them listen to on the side. So I think that's great. I think that'd be a great idea for you to try. I think that'd be kind of cool. You could always try it and see how it works out. Taken, yeah, with is it Liam Neeson? Is that who it is, Mandy? I can't remember his name. Watch this. I stole a baby. Hi. Aw, you're super sweet. I stole a kitty. I've heard of Unfriended. I know I've heard of a lot of movies because I watch Chris Stuckman, and Chris Stuckman's like one of the best movie reviewers on YouTube right now. And I love his reviews because they're very generic in terms of like he can talk about what he likes and he doesn't have to spoil anything. Shut your mouth. Can you not be so rude? If I didn't have a camera here and I wasn't talking, you'd be fine. Because we do this all the time. You're such a butt. But anyway. Go on. You're such a butt. You're such a butt. Anyway. Don't flack me with your tail. She's literally hitting me with her tail. Anyway. Oh, that sounds like an interesting movie, Rainbow. That sounds like an interesting movie and kind of scary. Yeah, she says no. That's literally Dot. She just literally says no all the time. No! No! Gets it straight from her mom because as a kid, my first word was no. And I grew up. I was late to life because I was 2 weeks late. I'm late to everything in real life. Yeah, so. And yeah, Mandy, that's our relationship in a nutshell. Dot's such a butt. Unstoppable. That's interesting. It'd be an interesting premise for a movie. I have to say that I'm in the minority of this thing, if any of you watch this movie, which I assure some of you have, but I actually really enjoyed Frozen 2. I thought it was a really good movie. I didn't know anybody disliked it until I got on the internet, but everybody dislikes stuff on the internet, right? Nothing, you can't enjoy anything on the internet. You always have to hate it. Sorry, I need something to hold up my chin. I'm fat and holding my head up hurts. I can't see my screen because I turned down the brightness so I didn't have reflection in my glasses, but now I can't see anything. Alright, so let's see here. Vic says, I recently watched Repo, the Genetic Opera, recently, which was one of those movies that was pretty good and really pretty bad and really good. You know, there's always movies like that, movies that you like that like that it's not that great, but you're like, shit, I love it anyway. I love watching movies like that. It's great. Yeah, our library closed too. It was open for curbside and then they closed it, so that's unfortunate. Oh, the movie with the bus is called Speed. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, well, Frozen kind of it's a hit or miss with that movie. I think, while I don't think it's like the greatest, I just enjoyed the plot a lot more than the first one, and I think a lot of that has to do with how Elsa was treated in this movie. I almost thought that like, I think it's pretty obvious in the first one that she was supposed to be the bad guy, but then they like changed their mind or whatever and made it Hans instead, which I don't think was that great of a changeover. But I adore Frozen 2 a lot. Show Yourself and Into the Unknown are such bops. So good. Okay, Ukulele gave us another recommendation. Let's read it. Leave No Trace. Basically, a dad and his daughter live in the woods and national parks. They're kind of homeless. It's really sad. Not big on sad movies. Like, really affect my depression. But maybe. Does it have a happy ending? If it doesn't have a happy ending, I probably can't. Hey, okay, so Jester, that's fair. I don't really go to the movies that often. I did see Toy Story 4 in theaters though, and you are in for a treat. Toy Story 4 is such a good movie. I really enjoyed it. As somebody who is basically the same age as Andy from the original three movies, it's so good. Like it is so good. A lot of people were like, does Toy Story 4 need to exist and all that stuff. Um, I think it's good because it's more focused on Woody as a character, rather than his connection to Andy. It has a lot to do with more what does he want out of his eternal life. And I think that's probably one of the most important things that Toy Story could wrap up for me, because I always really thought that Woody's whole existence was based on Andy and the other toys around him rather than him focusing on himself, which this movie really does. It's just fantastic. I love Toy Story 4. I want to get it on Blu-ray, but I haven't done it yet. But I could talk about Toy Story 4 forever because I think that is such a good movie. And VP, I actually really like Olaf in Frozen 2 as well. I feel like he was less annoying than he was in the first one. His reenactment of the original movie in the middle of Frozen 2 is hilarious. It's probably one of the best scenes in the entire movie. And Ukulele says that the Leave No Trace movie is not really happy, but it's emotional. Okay. I can kind of do emotional. As long as nobody like dies or anything, I guess. I don't handle that kind of stuff in movies very well. I'm a weak baby. Rainbow, you should see Toy Story 4. It's really good, and I hope your family likes it too, Jester. I really enjoyed Toy Story 4 a lot, as I said. It was a very good movie. Yeah, it is. Toy Story 4 can be a little confusing because the characters are in a completely new environment. Um, in terms of the fact that we no longer have Andy in the picture, and I think that's one of the biggest growths of this movie is the fact that it can't lean on the same type of I have to leave my kid story that the previous ones did, or could lean on, I guess. Well, Nucleus says nobody dies in Leave No Trace, so that's good. Maybe I should check it out. The only thriller that comes to mind that I really enjoy is kind of a scary movie, but it's the movie adaptation of Stephen King's book 1408. I love that movie. Such a movie that makes you think. It's so good. I love 1408. I could watch that movie all the time. It's scary, don't get me wrong. It's a scary type of thriller. There's no jump scares, but it's still really good. Yeah, see, Jester, I used to watch Cinema Sins all the time. I started watching Cinema Wins instead because I don't like being so passive aggressive to movies as I'm watching them. I would rather like watch and enjoy a movie and then maybe, later on talk about the stuff that I didn't like. But I'd rather enjoy it as I watch it, so I tend to watch Cinema Wins instead of Cinema Sins because Cinema Sins is just nothing but negative stuff. And I know no movie is without sin, but sometimes they're a little picky. Oh, Viculi 1408 too? It's so good, dude. Oh my god, I love it. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. I love it. I've only seen the movie once, Rainbow. I'm not a big fan on comedies. Um, but yeah. VP says it has death in it, but I recently read the book and watched the movie for The Hate You Give. Oh my god, it is so good. Okay, what's the premise? I've never heard of The Hate You Give. So can you tell me? Can you give me like a synopsis? Let's see. Okay, Ukulele is another recommendation. Another one I have is Red Eye, Rachel McAdams. I love Rachel McAdams. Cillian Murphy. Basically, a woman goes on a flight and a guy threatens to kill her father. She doesn't do once it's intense. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I like thrillers. I like psychological thrillers. I want to see The Invisible Man. I haven't. I saw the trailer that came out during Super Bowl, the Super Bowl weekend, like the day, like I think it was during the halftime show. They released The Invisible Man, which is a remake of a movie from like the 30s or something, based on a book. I want to see that movie because it looks really good. And I don't mind critiquing stuff that I watch because I do that with the Sander sides. Obviously, I'm so terrible. But at the same time, when I'm watching it, I rather enjoy it than think about it critically as I watch it. Oh, you saw the Invisible Man ukulele? Oh, I want to see it so bad. It looks so good. Oh, it's so good. I like the horror stuff without like the jump scares. Like FNAF has made me, you know, Five Nights at Freddy's has made me so deaf to jump scares that I feel like they're just cheap now, unless they're done in a good way, which FNAF does very well. But I think that I just like, um, I just would like more stuff that's scary without having jump scares in it. Excuse me. Oh, I am yawning. I'm not sleepy. Okay, kind of intense, fearful, no jump scares. That's good. Yeah, I definitely want to see The Invisible Man. I think it looks really cool. Yeah, FNAF only gets me if I'm not paying attention. Like I've made, I have this public because I think other people use it other than me because it has a lot of views and they're not just me. But I made a playlist on my channel that is every single FNAF video from Markiplier as he played it. That's just gameplay. It's none of the animatics or anything. But sometimes I'll leave that on while I sleep and I'll turn it way down just because I have to have my TV on. And and there are times where like it'll scare me as I'm about to fall asleep because I don't know what part of the thing it's at, and it'll make the sound effect noise, and I jump because I'm just like, shit, I didn't know what was gonna happen. Let's see. Alright, so Video President has told us what The Hate You Give is about. Star watches her friend die to a cop shot because of skin color, and then they do all the stuff to get justice, and we get to see our main developer seeing her friend die. Okay, that's interesting. That's actually good considering the state of the world in terms of police versus the POC community. So that's actually pretty interesting. I might actually look that. See, Baldi's Basics was weird, dude. Have you guys seen that new game that's about working in retail, like Nightmare of a Retail Worker or whatever the hell that game is called? As someone who has worked in retail for the past 8 years, legit. 100% legit. God, that game is terrifying. I don't mind gore and blood unless it's like an unnecessary amount. Like I'm talking like really bad. I rewatch Mark's stuff all the time. I watch his FNAF stuff over and over again. I rewatch him playing Until Dawn. I love how mad he got at that game. Oh god, he got so mad at that game. And then I watch his playthrough of shit. What's the other game that he plays a lot that I have another? I can't remember what the other game is, but I watched him play that, and then I've been watching and then I always go back to Jacksepticeye's playthrough of Detroit Become Human because I love that game so much. Such a fun game. Not I don't know if it's like hang on. Nope, that's backwards. Oops. It's too close to my face. I was trying to get it further away. There we go. But I always go back to Jacksepticeye's playthrough of Detroit Become Human. Oh, bye Vic. Thanks for coming. Bye. See you later. See, look how cute she is now. Look how cute she is. She's just hanging out. Being cute. She's too cute. Dot, you're so mean. You're always so cute, but you're so mean. Why you gotta act like that for? Anyway. So, anyway. Yeah, hi, I'm still here. Hello. I'm bored, so I don't really have anything else to do other than live stream, and I feel like I could talk to you guys for a while. So, and there's still 16 of you here, so that's actually kind of cool, I guess. Um, so what about I'm probably next time I get paid gonna buy Animal Crossing. Um, so um, maybe I can talk about Animal Crossing sometime because I've never played I've never played an Animal Crossing game in my life. So we shall see how obsessed I get with it. Oh, VP, the only thing I talked about in terms of the Sanders sides was the idea of Thomas needing to better uh separate his time so we don't always have such long waits in between episodes. The live stream will be posted as a video once I'm done and the rendering happens. I don't know how long it takes for YouTube to render it, but yeah, it'll be here. You can rewatch it at your own leisure. Oh, I'm sorry you have to wait, Rainbow. I don't really have the money either, which is why I'm not buying it right now immediately. But a store in our area is having a BOGO sale on stuff. Buy one get one 40% off, and there's a game that CJ wants to. CJ wants Ring Fit Adventure, so we're going to do that to be able to afford both games. And yes, Lulubelle, I have seen the Sanders trailer. If you go to my channel, there is a theory video talking all about the trailer, so you can watch that if you'd like. I talk about my theories about what the next episode of the Sanders is going to be, and I also talk about the trailer itself. So you can watch that on my channel. I'm trying to make my face look like even fatter than it is. I'm sorry. I know I'm boring. Dot's got the right idea. She's like, I'm not here no more. I'm covering my eyes. She's like, you don't see me. That would be funny, considering that would mean it's been over a year. Oh boy. That would be interesting, Jester. I don't know if it would happen, but it would be kind of funny. Well, guys, I guess I will head out. I probably need to go downstairs and clean the living room because I need to go through a lot more of my junk. Because I haven't this past week because work's been kind of hectically crazy, terrible. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. And I hope that you guys will enjoy any content that I post within the next month. Again, I will be doing end of month live streams, so always look forward to being here on the last Saturday of every month. I will do a live stream at 12 noon Central Time. We will talk about not only the Sanders sides, but anything that's happened in the past month to me in my life. One thing I didn't actually talk about that happened to me was I was in a car accident. What day was that? I didn't actually talk about that. I guess I can talk about that real quick. It was it was in February, I think, or was it in January? I don't remember, but it was I think it was January because we had snow, and and I had to go a different way to work, because they closed the main way I normally go to work. I had to go around, and I was at a stop sign, and a guy just plowed right into the back of my car. Um, oh, I'm fine. Don't worry. I am totally 100. This was months ago. You're fine. Um, and I got rear-ended because the guy wasn't able to stop because the roads were slick. So my entire car, the back bumper, it was completely ruined. Luckily, he was not going super fast, so it wasn't terrible. And luckily, my insurance covered everything. I paid nothing. Um, and I got a brand new bumper for my car on top of that. But yeah, that was terrifying. It's such a terrifying. I can only imagine being in a worse accident. Like it wasn't really that bad at all. But it was scary because I'd never been in an accident before. But it only ended up. I think once everything was said and done, it was almost like $2,000 for my car to be fixed. Which was nuts. And let's just say my anxiety was terrible the rest of the day. It was not good. It was not fun. I did not enjoy it. I would not recommend it to anybody. So just be careful if you drive because it's scary. But I was at a stoplight, so it definitely wasn't my fault that he hit me because I was stopped. But yeah, that happened. I forgot that happened since I haven't done live streams. Oops. I'm trying to think if anything else happened in the time that I haven't been live streaming. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. There's probably something else, but anyway, okay. Now I really will go. So I will see you guys. I don't have a calendar. I don't know what the last day of. I don't know what the last Saturday is of April, but I will see you guys then, and we will talk about maybe the new Standard Size episode if it's been posted by then. And we will talk about the nasty coronavirus and where it is at that point. And we will talk about any other videos that I posted on my channel or whatever you guys want to talk about because I love talking to you guys and being here. So I will see you guys very soon. Stay happy and healthy and be sure to wash your hands and wash any surfaces that you touch and sneeze into your elbow or a tissue and try to stay at home and be healthy at home and be nice to people who have to work and don't go out in big groups if you don't have to. Let's get rid of this stupid virus so we can all go back to our normal lives. But I love you guys and I will see you later and we will end on dot. Bye-bye. Okay, so Mandy said it. I'll see you April 25th. Bye. We'll end on dot. Bye. Say bye, Dodge. She's like, I'm asleep. Bye.